welcome everyone! We're back to Scratches, Director's Cut. And yeah, I still don't really know about the resolution thingy, but we will play on it anyway because I'm so eager to play it because it's so fun. Oh, it was like a year ago I played this, so yeah. Let's go to the guest room. Yes. Wah! Thank you. So, we have been searching for the room, and I think we should go downstairs first before we go around here. I get an interesting accent for some reason, I don't know why. Silly! Yes. I always wanted to be a pianist, but eventually found another use for my fingers. Yeah. No, sorry. Yeah. I really like to play the piano too. It was all gibberish to me. Silly. I can still read notes though. Is this God? I think it's God. Hi God! Sup? The fireplace had a generous amount of wood in it, and I was ready to know that I could something, I guess, light up a fire if it's cold. I'm not a pyromaniac. Okay, sorry. Sorry! I wonder how long a cup of coffee had been sitting there. Way too long, I guess. It looked as if an untidy person enjoyed reading in the living room. I like to read in living rooms. And we're starting to reading, guys! April the 20th. During a fit of rage, I burned my previous diary. Not that I regret it, as if my disjointed notes were worth anything. Their only purpose was to keep me sane. I feel that it's my escape route, my only means of finding some inner peace. Whenever I put my pen to this paper, I feel that I can reflect upon my situation. I just wish I had more options, that's all. But I'm rambling. I must think clearly. Focus, focus. May the 12th. I become an eternal guardian, stuck between few choices, some of which are good. Do I fulfill a promise and violate everything that I believe in, the very principles of my life, or am I condemned to spend the rest of my existence in this deemed state, a ghost with no other purpose than just being here, watching? I truly have no escape. I can't find an appropriate solution to this problem, and I must pay the price. I'm a shadow of the man I used to be. Only these notes remain, my testament in these moments of meditation, my sole companion. June the 26th. Today I spent the entire afternoon staring at the window, my mind a blank. Oddly enough, I really didn't care. It seems now as though it was something natural for me, a part of my personality. But I know the reason very well. I've lost my soul. I'm an empty shell, devoid of any feelings. I renounced them on that fateful day, and the worst thing is I knew there were going to be consequences. No, that's not true. Consequences were far worse than I expected. How could I be so blind? January. I often wonder what would have happened if we had simply reversed it all. What would happen if I right now came out and told the world what really happened? No, I'd end up rotting in jail. Although, that might be a better destiny compared to this eternal suffering. November the 17th. I can't say for sure when it began. I just heard them, one morning, coming from next room. The whispers. Are they real? Have I been alone for too long? They won't stop. I can't stand it any longer. February 9th. Ever since I locked it away, that everything seems to have calmed down a bit. Perhaps James was right after all. It's madness, I know. But at this point, I'd be inclined to believe anything. May. Over the years I was convinced that everything James suffered was a misfortune, a whim of destiny. For the first time ever, I'm not so sure anymore. I never thought it could happen, but I believe I understand now. If this is so, then cursed be my soul. Poor James. If I had acted in another way, then maybe things would have worked out differently. But it's too late now, and I have to suffer my Calvary. September the 13th. The noises are back, although this time they're different. Before, I only hear them inside my head, as if someone or something was whispering and, how to put this, interrupting my thoughts. But now, I can really feel them spinning around the house. What are they? September the 14th. I realized the noises are coming from down here. There. I don't want to think about it anymore. December. They are unbearable. They get worse at night. Oh, how I wish it would stop. What is going on down there? I don't dare to go nearer. I don't want to know. March. God knows how many years have passed. I have lost all sense of time. I have to get out of this place. The diary disturbed me in a way I couldn't explain. Yet I felt... Ah! So irritating! Yes, he felt something. Good. The funny thing is that you guys will be able to see what he actually felt, and I will be able to see it when I edit this. It's very silly, actually. So, what do you think about my reading? I really love reading things. I love stories! No, smoking can't kill you. Especially when the cigars are this old. Good point, sir. Very good point. The little drawer wouldn't open. Oh, sad face. Remnants of a previous fire. Just a bunch of uninteresting books. The glass was empty. Pity, I could have used a drink. I, sir, wouldn't drink it if it actually were something in it. Since it's a decade old, like you said yourself, you silly. Yuck. Okay. 2 years in East Africa. Ooh. Okay, close it. Leather of some sort. Nothing to click on. Nothing. Okay. It was locked. Of course it was locked. More reading! Woo! So much reading. Wait for it. February the 6th. The construction of the railroad bridge is almost complete and went quite smoothly. It took longer than I expected, yet I wish it would have lasted longer. Oh yes, the other one was a diary from the doctor that were living here, so he was actually here. This is James who's writing. I know this already, but I think it will be easier for you to understand in beforehand who is writing what. And in this he is traveling in Africa. Yeah. I will be very sad to leave South Africa, like he said. I become so attached to it, its culture, its arts. Over the past few months that I can't help feeling as if it were already a part of me. I will surely return someday, soon hopefully, although I'm afraid there's a great deal of work to be taken care of back in old Britain. Fortunately, I made good friends here who are very ecstatic about my new appreciating of the country. They have offered me some wonderful objects as a token of gratitude, which I have already created and got ready to ship, along with many trinkets I bought myself. It looks like I'm about to start a very substantial collection. It's a good thing Catherine agreed to move into her new house, although I fear several renovations will have to be made. Catherine is his wife, by the way, in case you couldn't figure that out. Even more if I'm intended to start a serious new hobby. It seems I have to get back to work. John Patterson had just told me some natives are causing trouble. A very unfortunate thing, although I'm secretly rejoicing. February the 12th. The natives won't leave. It's not like they are causing trouble so much as they're unsettling our workers. The only complaint so far has been distraction. They just stand still between the trees staring at us, without blinking an eye. I watched them for a few minutes, and they truly seem like some tenor-bronze statues. At first it was just annoying, but lately it has become downright creepy. They seem to be stalking us. So it's not like they are hindering the construction, but there is a general uneasy feeling, as they were about to jump at us at any moment. I think I will hire some protection as a measure of precaution. February 15th. Fascinating! I've been looking into these natives. They live in a nearby village in a very small group, yet they seem to manage quite well. I had thought of them as quite an uncivilized tribe, but their movements are calculated and one can precise sense of careful organization in their tasks. Oddly enough, they seem to be very brutish, and their aspect looks awful, although I couldn't take a look at their facial features, as I followed one of them completely on my own, and it would have been dangerous getting any closer. Also, the village is poor and very rough, but some of the shacks looked as inviting or special. It made me very curious. I will try to come closer tomorrow. February 16th. My second expedition to the village of the natives had been foiled by an unexpected problem at the bridge. I'm afraid it was due to a slight miscalculation on my part, an indication that I should be focusing more on the task at hand and put my sudden love for all African things aside for a moment. It was my fault, and I accept it. You better. February 20th. They are at it again, lurking beyond the forest. It's amazing how they have changed our perception of the surroundings. At first we were delighted by the quiet nature of the place. Now we fear that horrors might conceal in the dark and forbidding cloak of trees. The tops loom above us, overshading the bridge, and strange noises haunt our meals, even the river telling ungodly secrets. We could be, of course, a bit more sensitive towards distractions, but I can't help feeling the area has, in fact, become more sinister. And yet, I am still looking forward to satisfying my curiosity about the tribe. Curiosity killed the cat, you know. Beware. February 24th. At last I found something more about the neighboring tribe. This is an incredible finding, and I just can't withhold my excitement. Some elders at the local town happen to know about them, but only through stories they've heard. The most surprising thing is that the tribe was assumed to be extinct long ago, but according to my vague descriptions of the elders, think that we could be dealing with a legend here. Everything they have ever learned of them was during their childhood, when the tribe was stalking the town, much in the same way they have been stalking us. People used to call them Dlhaum, as such was the sound of screams heard echoing late at night. They come out in the streets and see an evil glitter atop a hill in the distance. Some would say it was a fire, others the cursed spirit of an ancient god. Whatever it was, they say that the bright light amid those fantastic screams was bone-chilling. The macabre scene would suddenly stop just as it had begun out of nowhere, never to be seen again in days to come. Intervals between those horrible nights became longer and longer until they soon faded into oblivion. The tribe apparently had retreated back into the obscurity, until now. They were later known as the Dalmar, a rather more scientific name, although none of the people I spoke with could possibly remember its origin. I find it extremely surprising that nobody has ever heard about this tribe, with the exception of a few townspeople. They must be incredibly rare, and judging by the stories passed down from generations in the town, very old. February 27th. I will confess that I become nearly obsessed with this strange tribe. I see them as the most prized goal of my appreciation towards South African things, a dangerous yet irresistible reward. I feel as if they were my discovery. I simply have to study them before leaving. I fear I won't have the chance to ever again. It has become an important goal of mine, even more important than finishing the bridge. March the 4th. Finally, I have managed to see them. My God, what a disturbing spectacle! When we arrived, they were moving around the village very slowly, without speaking or communicating with each other, each minding his or her own business, completely alien to the rest of the world. They were filthy looking, coarse and downright disgusting. I couldn't see any weapons, but they could have been stored somewhere. It was all very strange behavior in a tribe. They must be quite unique. Then, as if they were suddenly all became possessed by some wild spirit, they began shaking spasmodically and screaming like mad. Some of them dropped to their knees and lifted their heads to the sky, eyes blank and moaning in an indescribable way. 2 of them walked away, still in that monotonous and slow manner, and in great contrast to the rest of the scene, into a shack. The next minute they brought out into the open an odd-looking mask. Its shape, colours, and overall looks, while unsettling, were mesmerizing, and I felt instantly hypnotized by it. It rendered my modest collection of African curiosities into dull and uninteresting items. The mask was very ominous, and the whole tribe seemed to greatly revere it. Soon they began to gather around it and move in circles, fluttering and chanting a guttural psalm. Judging by their motions and aspect of the whole ritual, it must have been some kind of war ritual. I'm not sure how to explain what happened next, as I feel my pulse is already throbbing. Words fail me to recount the most disturbing thing I've ever witnessed. One of the male villagers walked into the middle, near the mask by his own will. It was an almost automatic act. All of a sudden, the remaining members became silent. I can't tell for how long it lasted, but I was afraid to breathe. I think Dolby and the others were also scared. They wouldn't even blink. I remember being soaked wet and expectant. The silence was so natural. Then a few members separated from the people circling the mask, and jumped on the single villager, beating him to death. To be completely faithful to the events, the small crowd tore him apart. They grabbed his legs in 2s and 3s and twisted them in a manner I dare not describe. His face was disfigured with their bare fingernails and teeth, and the torso soon disappeared under the frenzied tangle of hands. In a matter of a few minutes, the villager was turned into a red sack of bones. Not one of the attackers had the compassion to snap his neck during the sickening process. All was very methodical, as if it was just another mundane task. The most terrifying aspect, though, was that the victim didn't even cringe. The silence was so deep I could hear his flesh ripping. I would expect any living creature to scream its guts out in such condition. I can't tell whether he was drugged or half asleep, but I did recognize him dancing like everybody else before walking into the middle of the circle. It was the most outrageous and sadistic sacrifice I've ever heard of. I don't think I will ever forget what I saw. My intention of approaching further, even if they didn't have any weapons at hand, vanished. Those creatures, I dare not call them human beings, could have killed my whole company in a blink of an eye with their rage. They seemed to be completely out of themselves, and willing to destroy anything intruding into their path. While the image of the sacrifice still haunts my thought, I still can't seem to forget that mask. It was so deceptive, simple, and yet perfect in its design. I haven't seen anything like it. I surely would love to take a better look. I feel the Dalmar, dangerous as they are, could be the most important ethnical finding in decades. What I've seen today is crying for some further investigation. I just can't leave them like that. I would never forgive myself. And the mask, that mask. I was ecstatic after reading the journal. The material was incredible. Yeah, as a horror writer, I think that's pretty much what everything would look like. Want to see or read. Especially if it's like a true story. You can always use it in some way. I would. That was interesting. Yes, very interesting indeed. So, we have started with the story, and I think it's very interesting. The huge collection of books was impressive. I would have gladly spent days going through them. Yeah, me too. A diploma granting the title of construction engineer to James T. Blackwood. Most of the clocks in the house weren't working. Several trophies for remarkable accomplishments adorned the room. For what? Ah, well. Whee! Here is Sweden behind this. Ah, it went away. Sorry. Behind this brown thing here. Up here is Norway. And then we have Finland. And down here behind this thing is Denmark. Can't even see it. Ha! So yeah, that's Scandinavia for you. And for you know, I live right here. On the hand. In Stockholm. Let's go. Interesting. It's a very dark room though. I would not like to live here. Oh well guys, I'm going to end it here because we have reading a lot and I don't want the episode to be too long. So I will see you next time. Bye!